Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you so much for holding this important hearing. Several people have said it, but it would be good to repeat, Ms. Harthway. All the folks who are receiving benefits, they're in no danger of losing those benefits. Is that correct?
They're in no danger of losing their benefits, none.
Now, I have a question, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask Ms. Barnes. In your chart, in your testimony, it talks about Alpha Natural Resources, which was headquartered in my district, so I don't want to make everybody aware that that was in my district. It says amount of collateral time of bankruptcy, $12 million, estimated transfer of benefit responsibility to the trust fund, $495 million. Now, the $12 million did not represent Alpha's net assets. That, if I'm reading it correctly, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that $12 million was how much they had set aside to pay for black lung claims. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, because they came out of bankruptcy and they obviously had more assets than $12 million. So here's my question to either or both of you. One, did the Department of Labor go into the bankruptcy court with these numbers and ask for some of that money that was out there to be put into the trust fund, since there was a $494 million shortfall? And is there a process for the Department of Labor to go in on into the bankruptcy hearings? And the reason I raise this question is a former CEO of Alpha Natural Resources actually went into the bankruptcy court because originally they were going to zero out, as I recall it, the pension benefits as well, and he filed in the bankruptcy court a petition that they at least get some of the pensioners get some of their money, and he was successful in getting them some of their money. So the question then becomes, because part of it ended up with the equity firms, and I don't know all of the transactions, but they came back out of bankruptcy as two different entities. Yeah. So there was money left over. Did DOL ask for that money, and is there a process for them to do that?
The department would have to answer that.
So in a bankruptcy proceeding, yes, we are one of the creditors, DOL, OWCP, on behalf of the trust fund, one of the creditors that puts forth the liabilities or the what's due and owing. It's on current, not the future. This is why setting the collateral is so critical, but we are part of that process along with all the other creditors to try and get and recoup as much as possible for benefits.
Do you know if you all made an attempt to get more than the $12 million out of Alpha Natural Resources? And you may not know that answer today.
And I will have to get back to you on that. I know as part of the settlement agreement that we were in and came out of the bankruptcy, that they had to maintain some of their current benefits and pay for them. But I'd have to get the specifics for you. I don't have that. If you could
get the specifics for Alpha, James River, and Patriot, I would greatly appreciate that, so that I, can have the information. And then if there is something that your team thinks that we need to do legislatively to make it possible to, and I don't want to get in front of, a lot of other people, but this is an important benefit to the miners who have black lung. Is there something that we need to pass legislatively to make sure that we are getting some sort of a priority in the bankruptcy system for these monies? Can we do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that you all have testified today. There are a lot of things that can be done. I'm going to be taking a look at Mr. Cartwright's bill. I do think we have to change some of the rules to make sure that the miners are getting a fair shake in the process. It takes way too long for the miners to get an answer in these cases, and we've got to figure out a better way to do that. But I also want to make sure we get this information on the bankruptcies to try to make sure that the taxpayers don't, as Mr. Cartwright said, don't take it in the neck quite as bad as they currently are. At the same time, I'm glad that the miners are going to get all of the benefits that they deserve. Thank you, and I yield back.